like wait for just for 10 minutes if it's okay with you, and then we can continue with Sir Mark, and then after that we'll have your.
No problem, Sana. You please carry on. You please
Thank you
carry
so much.
on. You're doing a great work. I'm
Thank,
literally very happy to see you.
thank you
MashaAllah.
so
Very
much.
nice.
Thank you. Ji, Miss Nusliya.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ron, for such a wonderful presentation, interview, and such a wonderful time for giving us. Now, let's move to our next guest, Mr. Mark Fritz. He is a leadership specialist and has spoken on leadership in over 50 countries around the world. He has led enterprise change in Europe, Middle East, and Asia, and has taught at business schools throughout Europe. Mr. Mark mentors executives and runs leadership program in companies all around the world, helping companies to grow their leadership pipeline faster. Originally, he's from US, and we would like to welcome Mr. Mark with us.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you today. It's an honor and a pleasure, I should say, to share some ideas with you. I'm going to talk about some habits that we have to have when we're leading into the future. And I'm going to share my screen. Can everybody see the screen now and the title?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'd like to share with you is why we have to be stronger context providers, particularly in a tech world and as we're going forward. And think about this. What you type into ChatGPT, what you type into AI is context. What you get back is content. It's based on how you frame the context. And I think as we have AI-enabled world and a lot of other things, being able to be, the how is going to be easier. It's up to us as leaders to frame a more powerful context, because we don't frame the right context, we don't get the best solutions, and particularly we don't use the potential in our people. So I want to share with you a couple things here. Think about this. Leadership is influence, and influence is leadership. So, if you think about it, if you're just telling people what to do, that's not leadership. That's just being bossy. And so it's about influencing others and, in essence, helping others use their potential and really making things happen. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to share the levels of influence. And I'd like to share why this context is a big thing these days now, and just share the two key things, the two key habits and skills we need to be the best leader for our people, particularly in this world we have now coming. So if you think about it, your lowest level of context is how, right? If you give people, you tell them what to do, they come back for the next how. Very time consuming, very busy. Yeah, that's the micromanagement level. And remember this, micromanagement comes with the speed limit. Because when we micromanage people, we're operating to our head capacity to tell everybody what to do. We're not using their heads. And here's the key. If you're micromanaging people, you're definitely not using their potential. Your next level of influence is what? If you can make very clear what needs to be achieved, and you delegate and let go to your people the how, and let them have the how, you're going to be much more powerful in terms of your influence, and you're going to use more of people's potential. What's really interesting is I've done a number of, probably over 300 CEO mentoring groups, presentation to CEO mentoring groups in my career, and about 15 to 20 I did on letting go. And I ask all the CEOs why they don't let go. And almost 85 to 95% of the reasons why they don't let go had nothing to do with their people. It had to do with their own insecurities and wanting everything their way and so forth. So think about this too. As you climb in your career and when you lead people, your way might be out of date, especially with the younger people with more innovative ideas. So we have to let go of the how and enable our people to have the how. But really, the very best leaders, they at least get to this next level, which is who. Because, leadership is about people. It's not about managing activities and things like that. It's about empowering people to go make it happen. Now, this is going to sound like Dr. Seuss. Think about this phrase. if you don't have a who is the who? If you don't have a who, the who is always you. And so the very best leaders, they're not what and how people, they're more who people. And one of my clients had a big problem one time, and his first instinct was to tell his best person how to fix it. But he heard my coaching voice in his head. He asked his person to come in. What options do you have to fix this? They talked about the options, picked it, and fixed it. He said he figured out his job as a leader. He said, my how is, as a leader, is not how. My how is who. My how is hiring the right who, enabling the right who. And, you know, I gave him this Dr. Seuss phrase: if you don't have a who, the who is always you. Now, there's two levels above this, which is very, very powerful for leaders. And, you know, it's where we're going. This is the vision. This is what we want to accomplish, and why. In other words, if you really have good people below you, good, strong who, our job is setting a direction and making sure that the why is clear, that our people can personally connect to it. There's a very interesting phrase that I heard many years ago, and it was this. It's very important. The people who only know how will always be led by the people who know why. So your power as a leader is not at the bottom there. It's not how. The power as a leader is giving your people a very clear where and why, and empowering them to do their own what and how. Remember, because your how might be out of date. And so what I found is leaders are the why people. And we're the why people, and our job is to frame a context with the why that our people can see themselves a part of it, and it becomes personal to them. Because a vision or whatever, you know, unless it becomes personal, it's not powerful. And the very best leaders make that personal. Now, there's one W missing here, and that's when. Yeah, without a sense of urgency, we just don't get things done. And so we always have to have a date. If you're leading people well, they need the why, where, and the when. If you're really maybe micromanaging more, you give them a how and a when, or a what and a when. But the more we empower people to do the what and the how by themselves, the more together we can create the future faster. Okay, so now that's kind of like a preview, but here is the two skills. We need to be better at providing the context, where we're going, and the sense of urgency to go get there. Now, how you do that in the skill is you have to become a great storyteller, right? Look at all the religious documents in the world. They're all parables. We have to tell stories, because stories and examples, they expand people's mindsets to see more possibilities, but also they're relevant in a split second. Whenever you hear a story or an example, your mind goes to a similar experience in your own life, and it becomes relevant like that. And so the very good leaders are very good storytellers. They're telling stories, they're bringing it to be very relevant, they're expanding people's mindsets to see what's possible, so we can both create the future faster. Now, if you think about it, you provide the context, you do have to, you know, energize that where we're going. And that's how we do it with the context. Now, the second thing we have to do is we have to set good expectations. We have to say what does good look like. And we have to enable our people, which means that we have to be a great listener, right? Because if we're listening and asking the right questions, people start thinking for themselves. And think about this. If someone doesn't listen to you, you never feel valued. The very best leaders are telling stories, framing the context where we're going, and then they're getting their people's ideas out. Their people will take a lot more ownership for their ideas than your ideas, and they'll make it happen faster. So all this is really around letting go more of the how, but enabling your people where we're going and being very clear what needs to be accomplished. In other words, what does good look like? Because if they don't deliver what good looks like from our perspective, they deliver it from their perspective. And the goal here is we got to have stronger context providers. We have to explain much better the why and the where. so that our people can take a lot more action, use their potential, and go make things happen. And remember that phrase I said earlier. The people who only know how will always be led by the people who know why. So thank you very much for the opportunity to share these ideas with you. And I hope all of you work on those two skills. Become a greater storyteller and invest the time to listen to your people so they feel more valued and the actions will become theirs.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here. And I apologize for, a little delay because I know you have already commitments. Thank you so much. And I apologize for that. It's definitely something which it will help to all of us to become a more and better leader. Definitely.
Remember
Yes.
that as
Yes.
leaders, we're the why people.
Sir, I always say one thing: when you know your why, your how will be easy. I didn't know.
Exactly.
I was just saying out of the way, but today I realize it really works. When you know your why, your how will be easy. So this is the reason behind it.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
I really want to mention here again, which I mentioned in pre-summit, Sir Mark is the first one whom I, pursued and invited for this summit. And without any second thought, he just, appreciated and accepted my, invitation. It was, again, a big motivation for me to pursue other speakers to invite and join us on this summit.
Thank you very
so
much.
Thank
Wishing
you.
everybody a wonderful rest of their day here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Take care. Stay blessed.